Hi, 18 Cinema Summary here. In this video, we are going to tell you the full recap of a movie called Cashback. This movie tells the story of a final year art student that has insomnia for weeks after breaking up with his girlfriend. And finally, he finds a part-time job at night. At this point, Ben thinks more about his appreciation of the female body, until finally, he takes the time to sketch every detail of the beauty of women. How will this time-stopper story unfold? Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Final year art student, Ben Willis, lives out his college days with his dear girlfriend, Susie. One day, he makes the mistake of breaking up with her. Suddenly, time slows down as Susie goes on a rage. Unmotivated, Ben drags through the following days in a slog. During lunch, Ben spots Susie and Steve as he makes his way to a lone table. He is joined by his friend, Sean, who asks about his breakup with Susie. Sean suggests that Ben should date a beautiful girl, perhaps a model. Ben takes this advice with a grain of salt as he recalls the various instances where women had dismissed Sean. Later on, Ben attends one of his art classes. While beginning his sketch, he catches the eye of a beautiful girl across the room. She entrances Ben, and soon, he finds himself sketching her beautiful figure. His art teacher comes and dispels his enchantment. During the next few days, it becomes apparent that Ben isn't taking the breakup well. He loses sleep over this, and now he's left with a full 24 hours to contemplate his failed relationship with Susie. Overcome by his regret, Ben finally gives Susie a call. Despite his attempts at her, Susie firmly answers that their relationship's already run its course. This sends Ben spiraling deeper in his despair. The next couple of nights, Ben does his best to keep himself busy during his free time, both in the day and the night when he's plagued by insomnia. During one of his misadventures, Ben happens at a local supermarket. Ben sees a flyer in the supermarket indicating that the store is looking for someone to man the night shift. It isn't long until Ben scores an interview with the manager, Jenkins, and soon, he's an official employee of Sainsbury's supermarket. Ben has a feeling that something's about to change his life. During his night shift, Ben's been staring at a spilled bag of peas for a considerable amount of time. Jenkins comes by and scolds him for doing nothing. This startles Ben, but he's immediately distracted again by a beautiful woman. At this point, Ben thinks about how much he loves painting the female form. Ben has the most unusual way of off-passing the time. In his deep melancholy, Ben disassociates himself from time and reality. He imagines that time is still and unmoving. He pauses everything that is around him, letting him be free to do what he pleases. At this point, Ben thinks more about his appreciation of the female body. When Ben was very young, their family had taken him to Sweden. Because of the liberated sensibilities of the Swedish culture, the woman did not find it necessary to wear any clothes during the walk from the shower to her room. For Ben, it was only partly perverse. Mostly, he has looked at the woman's body with a deep and genius appreciation for her beauty. Ben notes that this event influences him to become a painter. During Ben's world of frozen time, he would frequently disrobe the beautiful women in the supermarket and sketch them one by one. When he completes all the drawings, Ben just needs to crack his fingers to return time to its normal course. Back to his dorm during the morning, Ben is visited by his friend Sean. Ben recounts a story of when he and Sean were 5. One afternoon, Sean's mother went out shopping, leaving the two boys alone. Sean had the idea of showing Ben some dirty magazines. Ben was surprised by how the women posed naked in such a shameless manner. Suddenly, Sean's mother walked into the room, and they walked up to her. And both of them were unknowingly hard. This led to Sean's mother believing that the two of them were gay. That morning at the dorm, Sean advises Ben once more. Sean tells him that he should find a few Natalies. To Sean, a Natalie is a woman to have a one-night stand with. The terminology came from an instance when they were young. Sean brought a wad of cash to a girl named Natalie. In exchange, Natalie would show her private parts to Sean. During another night shift, Ben encounters Sharon in the locker room. Sharon takes a bite out of Ben's sandwich. A piece of pickle sticks to Sharon's face. Ben meekly wipes the food from her face, and then Sharon leaves the room. Ben wants to stop the time, but he's only able to slow it down. Sometime later, Ben finds out that Matt had asked Sharon out on a date, which disappointed him. Ben then enumerates the crushes that he's had in his life. His crush was a girl named Tanya. When they were elementary, Tanya had gotten into an accident that ended with a cast on her arm. The day that she gets her cast off, she is bullied by her classmate, because her arm's hair had overgrown. Ben approaches her when she is crying and cheers her up. Because of this, Tanya became Ben's girlfriend. One afternoon, Ben and Tanya are on the verge of their first kiss, but Ben postpones it for a later time. Ben would regret this decision forever, as Tanya and her parent had moved to America. One evening, Jenkins has arranged for a weekend football game, in which he forcibly recruits his employees to participate. During the football game, Sharon is on the side, cheering for the team. Matt tries to kick the ball as hard as possible, but it hits Jenkins on his face. After this, Jenkins lies on the floor with a bleeding nose. Matt takes Jenkins to the hospital, and the rest of the crew go home, leaving Ben and Sharon alone together. Ben and Sharon stop by a nearby diner, and the two of them get to know each other better. There, Ben discovers that Matt didn't sleep with Sharon. She then shares her dreams with Ben, and Ben does the same. Sharon says that she's always wanted to meet a painter because she imagines that they could see the beauty of things, and it's so romantic. After that, Ben walks Sharon home, and Ben messes up their first kiss by awkwardly kissing her on the cheek instead. The following day, Jenkins announces that he'll be having a birthday party soon, and he's inviting everyone. Sharon asks Ben to go with her to the party as her date, and an overjoyed Ben agrees. Later on, Jenkins tasks Ben with hiring a surprise stripper for his birthday party. For this, he enlists Sean's help, and Ben will take him to the party in exchange. A few days before the party, Sharon checks in with Ben if he still wants to go with her. Ben says yes, and Sharon kisses him. Because of that kiss, Ben finally sleeps after having been awake for 4 straight weeks. A phone call then waked him up from a man who wishes to put his art on display gallery. Sadly, it's just Matt and Barry playing another of their pranks. Days go by, and Ben doesn't think about Susie anymore. And during work hours, all that's in his mind is Sharon. In the world of Frozen time, he draws Sharon over and over. It's the night of the party, and everyone is preparing. Ben picks up Sharon from her apartment, and he excitedly tells her about the offer he got from the gallery. Sharon is happy for him, and the two proceed to the party. When they arrive at the party, Ben is surprised to see Susie at the party, and he finds out that Steve is Jenkins's brother. After an awkward moment, Susie then leaves them. Eventually, the surprise stripper comes in. She dances in the middle of the room and directly in front of Jenkins. After the dance, the stripper goes up to Sean. He recognizes her. The stripper was actually Natalie from his childhood. While Ben is waiting in line for the upstairs bathroom, Susie approaches him. Meanwhile, Sharon is waiting downstairs with Jenkins trying to make a move on her. On the other hand, Barry tries to do a stunt that involves riding a box. Everyone gathers around the stairs to watch Barry. At this point, Susie kisses Ben in an attempt to reconcile with him. Ben pushes Susie away, and he rushes towards Sharon. Unfortunately, Sharon sees the kiss between Ben and Susie, which makes her rage it off. Ben stops time once again. He realizes that no matter how long he stays frozen, he cannot undo what had happened. Ben stays there by Sharon's side for 2 days before letting her go. Ben goes straight to Sharon's apartment and tries to explain everything. But Sharon is too blinded by her anger. Ben leaves her, and for the next few days, he spirals into his insomnia once again. Additionally, Ben doesn't see Sharon at work too. The day comes when Ben visits the art gallery. The art gallery owner denies having an appointment with him, making him realize that his friends had just pranked him. But before Ben leaves, the owner spots his sketches of Sharon in his hands. The owner becomes interested, and not long after, Ben is offered a night to display his work in the gallery. One day, Sharon receives an official invitation to Ben's art gallery, called A Frozen Second. Despite his anger with Ben, she decides to visit the gallery. She is surprised once she arrives at the gallery. There are hundreds of paintings all depicting her. As Sharon stands in awe, she catches Ben's attention. Ben tries to explain what happened at the party, but Sharon tells him that the art display expresses more than words could. Ben then kisses Sharon, and time stops. Both of them can move in the frozen world this time. Ben takes Sharon out in the snow with beautiful snowflakes in the air. The lovers share a kiss once more in the world of frozen time. And that wraps up our recap this time for the movie Cashback. Feel free to drop a comment below as to what we should recap next. Thank you for watching.